Hello, I'm Meg Salyer, Ward 6 Councilman for the City of Oklahoma City, and we have a fantastic program today. I'm here with Gary Brooks, who's been in the headlines recently. January 11th
Yes, ma'am.
of this year, Gary and his partner closed on the sale of the First National Center downtown. And so we're going to talk about the plans for that magnificent building coming forward. But Gary, if you would, because I'm not sure everybody, knows much about your background, and we've had lots of attempts at First National Center. It's never been somebody local, and it's never been a local developer. So in a nutshell, maybe, could you give us a little bit of your background, how you came to this?
Who is this guy and is he qualified? That's the
Those
question.
are two really good questions.
Great questions. Well, I'm an accountant by trade.
Excellent start,
Didn't
right?
enjoy it, wasn't very good at it. Met Bob Moore and actually sold cars at 4th and Walker for Mr. Moore.
Oh, fantastic.
Got into my cell.
So you're a Ward 6 guy from the beginning?
I'm a Ward 6 from the beginning. Mr. Moore really redirected my career. Got into commercial real estate, met Mark Beffert in 1988, and changed the direction of my life.
Off and running.
Mark and I formed Beffert Brooks in 1996 after working together at CB Commercial for a number of years, and that, of course, has parlayed into what is now Levy, Strange, Beffert.
Right.
And,
So
Grubb
most
and
people
Ellis.
know Mark
Newmark,
Beffert for being the owner of Leadership Square, City Place,
Oklahoma
Oklahoma
Tower,
Tower.
Corporate Tower, and numerous other office buildings. So, I left out on my own in 2007 and began developing apartments. I got a passion for apartments back in about 1997, actually. And Mark and I managed about 4,000 low-income units off of 10th Street, Mr.
Wow.
McAtee's area. And so became convicted apartments at that point, and really got engaged and started doing my own development, owning my own properties in about 2007.
Great.
And we did mostly suburban properties. Made a run at the old Mercy site downtown in 2010,
Yeah.
and discovered that once you're downtown, the cameras, if you will, begin getting on you a lot more than in the suburbs.
So that Mercy site at 13th and Walker is now over 300 units, called the Edge Apartments.
The Edge at Midtown, and it's done very well. We love Midtown.
Oh,
You know,
boy,
it's-
Midtown loves having the Edge there.
And because of what we learned there, really got convicted that downtown's a place we wanted to commit some of our resources to. Worked through a very difficult project in East Bricktown with urban renewal in the city. And
So
have
that project is called the Steel
the
Yard.
Steel Yard, and it's 250 units in the first phase, and we'll do another 140 units in phase 2. So it'll be about 390 units total.
And Gary, I was at the Criterion the other night for an event, and steel is up, sheetrock's going up.
The exterior,
Phenomenal.
they take a couple years to build this, but there's a lot of stuff going around there. You've got the hotel sites that we sold on the corner, and so very exciting East Bricktown work.
Well, it's just changed the entire complexion of that part of Bricktown
Yeah.
and downtown. But we have to talk about the crown jewel, which is really what people are so excited about. I first came to Oklahoma City in 1981. Used to stay at the Skirvin. Has such a special place in my heart. And then when I moved here and walked through the Skirvin closing at First National Center, beginning to sort of fall into some disrepair, the heartbeat of our downtown was gone. Skirvin has been beautifully renovated, and we've all been waiting and waiting and waiting. So tell us the story of First National Center.
Well, many of us have looked at the building for years. I call it the First National Black Cloud. It's scary and it looks great at a distance, but you get up close and you start wondering, what are all the things you're not going to find? They're just, it's intimidating. It's 1.1 million square feet, and it's just everything in it is exponentially larger than what most of us have dealt with. The timing was right. When the city and federal court took it back and appointed Jim Perrick as the receiver, you knew at that point you could get clear title. And one of the big issues to the building has always been, because of the challenges in the ownership, could you really even get clear title to it? That took almost a year to get the title work. We actually signed the contract January the 11th of 2016, and we closed January the 11th of 2017. So
That
it took a
date's going to be an
year.
important date in your life going forward.
It will be significant, already has been. You know, we understand the role that we've taken on. I don't think there's any confusion as to what we've done and the responsibility that we've taken. It's intimidating. It's fun all at the same time. One of the first things we did was go do case studies around the country of other similar projects. We have 110 right now that we've studied. We've been to New York, Chicago, Cleveland, San Francisco. We've met with owners. We've tried to learn what are their mistakes, what would they do different, what advice would they give us. So we've got a design we're very happy with, and it'll take about a year to get all the asbestos out and the demolition done.
Which, for those people that have followed this building over the years, we all thought the asbestos was out already. That was one of the promises that had been made.
I can assure you it's
over
not.
time. I believe
yes,
you.
No, we have about 2.5 feet of reports that confirm that asbestos, lead paint, tile, there's still a lot.
Everything you expect to find in an old building.
Everything you would expect to find in an old building is there. The city's been incredibly helpful. They stepped in from the brownfield program with Amanda and Chris Farga, and bringing us the right people. The key to First National is putting together the right team. Right now I've got 127 people that I deal with directly.
Oh my gosh.
And then they, of course, each of those people have sometimes people underneath them. But that was the key, is developing the right team of right experts.
And so kind of back to fundamentals, what is your overall plan in terms of retail, mixed use, housing? What is that going to look like?
The anchor for the project is the hotel.
Okay.
You know, that clearly, when you go visit these type of projects in other cities, everything works around that hotel, because that's the public space, it's a centerpiece. And so we went to Marriott. They have an autograph brand.
Okay.
And the key to the autograph, they really want to focus on properties that are important to the community, where they focus the brand on the property and its story, not the Marriott story, which is exactly what I wanted. So 149 room hotel, on floors 1 through 8.
So for all of our Oklahoma City historians, that grand banking hall will be your lobby?
It will be an incredible space. It'll be a lobby. We'll have a restaurant in there for breakfast and lunch in a typical high-end hotel. We'll have a bar in there that'll be open at certain times. We're going to put a museum in the northwest corner on Park Avenue. Just some fun artifacts from the history of the building.
You know, Gary, if I could interrupt, one of the things that has meant so much to me personally about this is when you were doing your due diligence on the building, how deeply you went into the history. I have a direct personal connection with the Hightower family, and I was so grateful how much you delved into that and what you learned.
Well, I felt like I made a mistake in the steel yard in Bricktown, and I went to Jim Tolbert and Don Karchmer and said, look, I made a mistake. I should have done more research on Bricktown before I actually designed an important project, and I wasn't going to do that here. So I went to Jim Tolbert and said, where can I start learning about the family? I didn't know the Vos family was all I would have known. And he gave me a book written by Michael Hightower, who's a direct descendant of the Johnson family. And that started my journey that became, my wife says, an obsession with learning about the families and the history. We will make this building a tribute to not only the bank, but the families and the history of it. That's an incredibly important piece of what we're going to consider a successful project.
No, that's just so wonderful to hear. We don't have much of that left in downtown Oklahoma City, and so the preservation of that special place, I say, as a New Yorker, I feel like I have my own private Empire State Building right there.
People have already started sending me safety deposit books from 1950.
What
and
fun.
It's going to be incredible, all the artifacts that we put in there. And then apartments on floors 9 through 30.
Okay.
High-rise living is something we haven't really seen here very much of. We've got some of it. But a high-rise living attached with a hotel is something special and unique that we've seen in other markets that we think when we bring it here and to be able to offer to residents typical hotel services, valet parking and concierge services and housekeeping and
Swimming pool?
swimming pool on the
Movie stars?
14th floor, an incredible dog park. Much of our demographic, pets are very
Yeah.
important, and be able to keep them in their own area. The amenities here will be like nothing we've ever done. We've copied the best of the best from all over the country to bring them back to Oklahoma City.
Restaurants. There's a great
Restaurants.
story about downstairs.
Well, we all love the Great Hall. I became fascinated with the vault room. There's 5 vaults downstairs, and when I read Michael Hightower's book, you realize there were 600 bank robberies in the United States in 1930. When they designed this building, they're assuming they're going to get robbed. So
Where the money is, right?
the entire vault is built around knowing that we're going to have some type of robberies at some point. It's an incredible space. I went to Cleveland just to see a bank vault that's the Diebold like ours, how they used it in a speakeasy. So our vision is a really high-end Italian restaurant in that basement.
Excellent.
We've got an elevator that comes off Park Avenue, and to be able to sit and eat and fine food and wine are in those vaults is going to be something that
Second to none.
I know we've never seen here in this
Just
town.
awesome. We've just got a couple minutes, but how about your timeline? You said it's going to be a year just to...
A long time. Patience is going to be the key for all of us. I told the team, you only get one shot. You don't get do-overs on First National, so you have to do it right. And sometimes doing it right means you give the experts and the artists who are going to come in and repaint the ceiling the time they need. We'll be open sometime early 2020.
Okay.
I wanted to be open by Christmas of 2019, but I think that's too aggressive.
Okay.
So it'll be at least 3 years before we're actually complete open, the garage, all the retail, the hotel, and the apartment piece, and,
Now,
the bar on the roof.
And the bar on the roof, you didn't even tell us about that one.
Yeah.
You've got 2 minutes.
A rooftop bar on the 31st floor. It's just going to be incredible.
And that's where the old Beacon Club was
the old
years
Beacon
ago.
Club was, and the stories of the 75-year history of that Beacon Club. We want to do everything we can to honor that, and the renderings that I'm seeing coming back from our team are incredibly exciting for that bar.
Well, on January 11th, when I went home and I happened to have a view of that beacon, the beacon was lit. There were flags flying on Robinson again that I hadn't seen
We just
for
wanted
a
to at
long
least
time.
do something to tell people, hey, we're serious, we're going to pay attention to the details. I wanted to get the clock working again, but they said it was about $65,000, so I'm putting that off for the construction budget.
We understand, but it is an amazing project. It is one of the most exciting things to happen in Oklahoma City. We've needed it. We've dreamed about it. This is one of those dream big. And, I know it's minimizing it to say, I know you're all into this project and how invested you and your partners are in this deal. But the city's behind you, and
Yes, they
we're
are.
excited, and we'll be there for the ribbon cutting in 2020.
Looking forward to it.
Thanks so much. Really
Thank you, Meg.
appreciate it.